The perfect pizza. Chapter 1. Eric Wizard, the wizard's boy, hurried home from school. He ran up the path to his front door and stood on tiptoe to reach the big door knocker. The knocker had a funny face on it. Eric gave it a good bang.
Ouch,
said the knocker.
do you want to knock my teeth out?
The knocker always said that, ever since Eric's dad had put a spell on it by mistake.
Was there any post today?
Eric asked the knocker.
There was a postcard from your mom. She says...
Okay, I can read the postcard myself.
Eric's mom was an airline pilot. She flew all over the world, and she always sent Eric a postcard. The knocker went into a huff. Eric was about to bang it again when the door opened.
Ha!
Mr. Wizard stood there smiling. He had a lump of dough in one hand and a lump of snow in the other. Oh, hi, Eric. Home from school already?
Hi, Dad.
Eric followed his dad down the hall to the kitchen.
Dad, what are you doing?
I'm trying to make a perfect pizza, but the dough keeps turning to snow. I haven't quite got the spell right yet. In the kitchen, there were lumps of dough and lumps of snow everywhere, and the snow was melting.
Are you sure this is a good idea, Dad? We could get a pizza from the pizza place.
No, this'll taste much better. Mr. Wizard scooped up all the snow and placed it in a bowl. It won't be long. I just need the perfect spell. Eric couldn't help feeling worried. He wished his dad would make meals the ordinary way. Eric sighed and bent down to pat the dog.
Meow. What's happened to the dog?
Eric gasped. Mr. Wizard looked a little embarrassed. That's not the dog, Eric. That's the cat.
Meow. Where's the dog?
He's in the garden. Eric went to the back door and looked out of the window. Theodore, the real dog, was on the doorstep, and he looked very unhappy.
Dad, can't we let Theodore in?
He doesn't like the cat being a dog.
But what happened to the cat?
I was just coming to that. Chapter 2. Eric's dad began to explain. Well, Tiger went up to the top of the tree in the garden. I couldn't get him down, so I,
Oh no, Dad, you didn't use magic.
I used a spell that would give the cat wings.
So he could fly down like a bird.
Exactly. But the spell didn't work. The cat didn't get wings. He got springs. He fell out of the tree and bounced across the garden. Then he bounced right through the kitchen window and into the kitchen sink, and he hurt his paw. Then I tried to spell to make the sore bit on the cat's paw better. Heal the sore, heal the sore. But the spell didn't work. Heal the sore sounds a bit like Theodore, and...
Oh no, Dad.
Now the cat looks like the dog, and the real dog doesn't like the new dog.
And the cat still has a sore paw. Meow.
Eric's dad was a hopeless wizard. Eric always had to sort out the problems when his spells went wrong.
Don't worry, Dad.
Said Eric.
I'll take Tiger to the vet.
Good idea, said Mr. Wizard. And I'll have the pizza ready when you come back. Eric hurried out of the house. He still hadn't had time to read his mom's postcard. Chapter 3. Eric sat in the vet's waiting room feeling very uncomfortable. As Tiger the dog was really Tiger the cat, he didn't like being near other dogs. First of all, he jumped onto Eric's lap. Then he tried to get onto Eric's shoulders.
Ruff! Tiger, down!
At last it was Eric's turn to see the vet.
Wow, you're a big boy. What's he called?
Asked the vet.
He's called Tiger,
said Eric.
He's got a sore paw. That's a funny sort of name for a dog. Let's have a look at you then, Tiger.
The vet lifted Tiger onto the table.
How did he hurt his paw?
She asked.
He climbed right to the top of a tree. That's a funny sort of thing for a dog to do.
The vet looked at Tiger's paw.
I think he sprained it. Did he fall out of the tree? No, he sprang out of the tree and landed in the kitchen sink. That's a funny sort of place for a dog to be.
The vet gave Tiger a jab to make him feel better.
There's a good dog. Meow. That's a funny sort of noise for a dog to make. He's a funny sort of dog.
The vet put a bandage on Tiger's sore paw.
He needs to rest his paw. Try to keep him in bed. Where does he usually sleep? On an old towel on the top of Mum's wardrobe? That's a funny sort of place for a dog. Yes, sir, I suppose so.
Eric hurried out of the vet's and headed for home. He was getting hungry. He hoped his dad had the pizza ready. Chapter 4. Eric walked up the path to the front door and gave the knocker a good bang.
Ow! Do you want to knock my teeth out? Have you read that postcard from your mom yet?
Mind your own business.
I wouldn't come in here if I were you. You should see what's happened in the kitchen.
Eric was about to tell the knocker what a bossy boots it was when the door opened. Hi, Eric. That was quick.
Tiger's better. Is the pizza ready, Dad?
Eric followed his dad into the kitchen. It was in a terrible mess. I'm afraid the pizza's not quite ready. I got the spell right for the dough at last. I got the spell right for the onions. I got the spell right for the tomatoes. I got the spell right for the herbs. I got the spell right for the cheese. Eric's mouth began to water. He was hungry enough to eat a whole pizza. But the pizza was nowhere to be seen.
Where is it?
Asked Eric. Said his dad. I had a little problem with the ham.
We can eat the pizza without ham.
No, we can't. You see, the pizza has already been eaten. Theodore ate it.
The whole pizza? Where is he?
He's out in the garden again. Eric went to the back door and looked outside. A tiny hamster was sitting on the doorstep.
Where's Theodore?
That's Theodore,
Oh, Dad,
said Eric.
what have you done now?
Eric's dad began to explain. I was just making a spell for ham when Theodore grabbed the pizza. But I got the spell wrong. I didn't get ham, I got hamster. The wizards now had a cat which looked like a dog, and a dog which looked like a hamster. And the little hamster was full of pizza. He looks a bit sick.
I think I'd better take him to the vet.
I'll make some scrambled eggs, said Dad. Chapter 5. Eric waited at the vet's. Theodore was acting very strangely. Although he looked like a hamster, he was behaving like a dog. The other people in the waiting room couldn't stop staring.
Theodore?
The vet stared at Eric too.
What? Are you back again? I've brought Theodore.
Eric put Theodore down on the table.
What's wrong with this little fellow?
Eric explained about Theodore eating a whole pizza.
Do you always give your hamster pizza? No, he usually eats a tin of dog food and a handful of biscuits. No wonder your hamster is ill.
The vet gave Theodore some medicine.
I think your hamster will need some exercise. He's eaten too much. Do you ever let him run around? Yes, we go to the park and throw sticks, and Theodore catches them.
The vet gave Eric a funny look. Eric took Theodore home. He hoped his dad had the scrambled eggs ready. He was really starving. Chapter 6. Supper in 5 minutes, said Dad. I must finish cleaning up first.
At last,
said Eric.
I can read Mom's postcard while I'm waiting.
On the front, there was a picture of Hawaii. On the back, she had written,
Dear Eric, here's another card to add to your collection. I hope you're both behaving yourselves. Love, Mom.
At that very moment, Mrs. Wizard got out of a taxi. She walked up the path to the front door.
Not another one. This door has been open and shut all afternoon.
Mrs. Wizard gave the knocker a really hard bang.
Nice to have you back. Your boy probably still hasn't read your postcard.
Mrs. Wizard usually arrived home at the same time as her postcards.
That must be Mom knocking at the door now.
Eric ran downstairs to open the door. He hoped his mom wouldn't notice anything unusual. His dad had brushed herbs off the floor. He had wiped cheese off the doors. He had scraped tomato off the ceiling. The kitchen looked quite clean after the pizza making. Tiger was in his favorite place on top of the wardrobe. He looked like a cat again, although he was still the size of a dog. Theodore the dog was out in the garden. He was dog-shaped again, although he looked like a pizza. Eric felt it was safe enough to open the door.
Hello, Eric. Hi, Mom.
That's not the way she treated me.
Mom had bought a t-shirt for Eric and a shirt for Dad.
Wow.
Magic! She had also brought dinner.
I stopped off at the pizza place. I hope you haven't eaten.
Well, the dog has.
I'm starving.
The wizard sat down to eat. The pizza was delicious, but Eric's mom wasn't so sure.
Pass that to Dad, please. There's not enough tomato on this pizza,
she said.
I could do with a dash of tomato sauce.
Eric saw a twinkle in his dad's eye.
Oh no, Dad, not more magic.
He held his breath. Suddenly, the sauce bottle floated out of the cupboard and came down gently on the table.
That was a perfect landing.
Dad winked at Eric. Sometimes, just sometimes, the magic worked.